Well, thank you. So happy Friday to everyone. Hope everything's going great. It's great to have Matthew and Ezra and Mary and Michael and Angela and Sandy and Dave, Eric, Melody, Bill, Jody, Karen, and of course CJ, our hostess with the mostest. So today's topic is going to be dedicated to Melody. She brought this up earlier in the week, and it's basically on a topic called Ho'oponopono. All right. So it's basically, if you guys haven't seen this, I remember, the first time that I see it, heard about The Secret, the movie. How I heard about it made me feel so incredible because it was like I got like 17 or 20 messages all in one day via email. And it was like, Robert, man, you got to see this. This is the stuff you teach. Which was really, really incredible. And so I remember watching the movie, and when I watched the movie, there was a number of people, including Bob Proctor, on there, and there was a guy named Joe Vitale. And what I did is I took the time to dive deep into every one of them. I had already known who Bob Proctor was, and so I just tracked down every one of them and found their Facebook page, their Instagram, their whatever, because I figured if they got on there that they're all connected. And Joe Vitale has written two books on this, but if you really, really do your due diligence about it, it's pretty fascinating. And so Ho'oponopono is a Hawaiian culture, and it basically means to make things right, to make things right. And so it's a whole guide of forgiveness and conflict resolution. So how you use it is you basically say this out loud. All right. Try to get it as good as I can. And you guys can look for it as well. But you're basically saying, I'm sorry. Please forgive me. I love you. Thank you. Now, of course, when you're saying, please forgive me, you're also saying that to yourself. And a lot of people don't realize, hi, Coach Bob, a lot of people don't realize that, especially when you're dealing with Dino and the voices in your head, a lot of us really, really have a hard difficulty with feeling enough, feeling worthy, feeling like we're a miracle, loving ourselves. We're so good at beating ourselves up. So when you're basically saying, I'm sorry to myself and please forgive me, I love you. How many people have ever, you don't have to raise your hand, but I remember the first time I was told to look at myself in a mirror. And you really, really, when you do it consciously and do it on purpose, it is amazing how your eyes will drift to everything but your eyes. So you're looking at yourself in the mirror and you're looking at your hair, parts of your face, your shirt, something in the background. It's just, it's not easy to look at yourself in the eyes for any period of time. So not only doing that, but being able to say these words, including I love you to yourself, is an incredible practice. And there's a number of that stuff that I learned from Joe Vitale. One of the ones too is in this video that he did of teaching this, he did another thing that I'll share with you guys really quickly. As he says, you're supposed to look at yourself in the mirror and look at your future self. Okay? That might sound very bizarre to people. But if you have an imagination of who you want to become, like in Science of Getting Rich, this wonderful becoming, right? And you look at yourself, and then as you're looking at yourself, you're just supposed to imagine that everything you ever wanted in life, you already have. So you look at that person, this is the person that has, they love themselves, they look at themselves as a miracle. They've given a lot to charity. They've got incredible relationships with all the people that they love. They're connection with a higher power is the best it's ever been. They're very, very successful and sought after. If people are looking for fame, they're extremely healthy. They've had their imagination of every part of their health and how their vibration and frequency all is. And when you do that, then you simply ask your future self questions. Imagine this, looking at yourself and going, so what should be my first move? Because you're talking to your future self that's already there. Isn't that crazy? And it's a concept that actually teaches you not only how to love yourself, but forgive yourself. And also in the whole concepts of, listening to yourself, trusting in your abilities. Because what a lot of us do is we really, really trust in our abilities to make the wrong decisions and consistently screw up. And some of us, now just say, me, before I found this stuff, I was really good at that stuff. So, I'm just telling on myself a little bit when there was two things that happened to me at the same time. Of course, you guys heard in some of the breakthrough stuff I did where, I basically stopped being a victim. I stopped doing the blame game. I took really, really personal responsibilities for who I am. And I learned to forgive everyone and everything that had happened in my past. The hardest person to forgive was myself because I had like a double whammy there. Because once you take personal responsibilities of who you are and your decisions moving forward to create your future in an imagination that is just super, super wild, then all of a sudden you realize, which a lot of people have to not do this, but I did it. I'm sure a lot of people do, is then as soon as you get some of the answers that you need, you're immediately upset with yourself that it took you this long to frickin' figure it out. And now you just start going, oh my God, if I only was doing this a year ago or 5 years ago or 20 years ago, what could my life be like? And again, that's part of this. So I'm glad that Melody brought it up because the whole concept of saying, I'm sorry, please forgive me, I love you, thank you, to yourself. And to take that extra step where you actually do this in a mirror, So I know we normally don't do this, but I don't, if you guys don't mind, since Melody brought this up, I'd love to Melody to be able to share with all of you what it's done for her. Are you guys okay with that? So Melody, you there?
Put on the spot.
Nice, nice, nice. Now, I don't want everybody to think if they bring up a subject that I'm going to bring you up on the spot, but Melody, when I first shared this with you, you can please share with everybody where you were, mentally, because you are one of the best people I ever met that just seemed to constantly blame yourself for everything.
All the time. For everything.
Yep.
I blame myself for other people's problems. Like, that I had nothing to do with. Yeah, this was really impactful. I believe we were in Dallas at the time
Oh, I
that you
remember
shared this,
that. I remember that.
right? And it was pretty awesome because it was a very intimate group of us that got together. I know it was kind of like an exclusive thing to be able to get to this event. And um, as you were sharing it, uh, I don't do you remember the prison story that goes with it?
Please share.
Oh, okay. Well, this very very I don't know. This just my memory of it. There was a gentleman who worked at a prison,
Right.
and this prison had a lot of bad stuff going on in it, right? With a lot of the different prisoners and all of that. And this gentleman was, he'd go to work, he'd pull out the files and all of that. And every day he said this prayer over, in his office over the files. And eventually, things in the prison turned around. And it was quite the miracle that happened. So this prayer is not just for ourselves, which I truly needed it. I needed that reminder that you know um that I was created and I was a miracle and all of that. I needed to let go all of those things that I blamed myself for.
Yeah.
And I've got goosies just thinking about this now. And and being able to do this to towards, I guess, towards people that I needed to forgive in my life. The abuse, oh, so many things.
Right.
So I needed to be able to release that. And I'll tell you, uh, if you've ever had like the worst cramp ever, and it just hurt so bad, that's what I felt like when it came to some of these things I needed to forgive in my life. And when I started practicing this Ho'oponopono, and in combination with the 6 phase meditation, it that release was like the greatest release for me. It gave me that freedom. It filled my heart with peace. I didn't have those thoughts and feelings about other people that really were controlling my life. They had no idea.
Right.
They had no idea what a grasp on my life, on my thoughts, on my heart. Um, and this just allowed me to be able to really free myself of that. And yeah, it was just super, super
Thank
powerful.
Thank you so much, Melody, for sharing. I remember one other thing we did. I seen Eric posted in here that, I shared that with him back in 2014. And one of the things that I did too is I always, tried to find out ways that, that I could just, superpower it. And what I remember doing back then is I recorded my voice, my own voice saying it. And I see Eric nodding his head. And I recorded my own voice saying it. And then, nowadays they have all this free software that you can get. Um, Audacity, I think, was the software. I don't remember. There's probably like a million new ones. But I would take the Audacity clip of me saying, I'm sorry, please forgive me. I love you. Thank you. And I kept doing it until I felt like I really, really got some feeling behind it. And then I took that and copied that part, how quick it was, and then I just put it behind it. So I just grabbed it and copied it behind it and copied it behind it. And then what I did is I actually created something that I could listen to that just kept saying it to me over and over again in my own voice.
Yeah, I remember you told us to do that too. And I'm not a tech person, but the first thing that came to my mind is how could I do this? Is I'm going
Right.
to call myself and leave myself a
Ah,
message.
nice, nice, nice.
And so every time I checked my voicemail, it was always saved there. You know, and Robert, to be honest, I've got voice messages of you, birthday messages or whatever from Craig, Michael. I've got voice messages from you guys, and it's awesome because I save those because it makes me feel that awe. It reminds
Right.
me I've got these amazing people that love me and that I love, and that'll change your state.
Yeah, it will. Yeah, ever since we came out with the concept, thing of awe, just how big, you need to be in awe of yourself. Every time I see the word awesome, it's different to me now. When I post it to somebody, it's awesome. When I post it, it's like to think how fast in 1 week that I took the word that I thought that I was overusing and I can't use it enough.
Yeah.
When you can reframe things in your mind and your heart and soul that way, you know what I mean? Just really, really makes it really, really incredible. So it's on a Friday, and I know some people are at the event. So, we don't need to go any further. I love and appreciate each and every one of you. Have an incredible Friday and a great weekend. And, make sure, Eric posted that too. It's like, nowadays with the softwares being so simple, a Zoom is free to do a video of yourself looking into the camera. You know what I mean? Saying, I'm sorry, please forgive me, I love you, and thank you. So to each and every one of you, that's the gift. Thank you so much, Melody, for sharing that. I know this will
Thank
really
you.
touch people's hearts and souls, and I love and appreciate you. And we'll give it back to CJ, the hostess with the mostest, to fill us in on our schedule.
Why, thank you so much. And yes, I love Ho'oponopono. It's Hawaiian. So yeah. And they pronounce every single syllable letter exactly.
Yep.
So, uh, thank you so much, Robert. What a great message. And Melody, thank you also for sharing. Okay, so as a reminder, tomorrow at noon Pacific, 3 Eastern, we've got Ask Me Anything. Sunday is The Master's Mind at noon Pacific, 3 Eastern. And then Monday, Recess at 9 a.m. Pacific, 12 Eastern. And of course, every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday, we've got Daily Wisdoms Breakthroughs on Thursdays at 6 p.m. 9 Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern time. So, wow, just a full schedule of events coming up that you can join us on. And we would love to see you at each one of those. So thank you all so much. Bless you all. Have a fantabulous weekend. Again, tomorrow we're going to be here. So if you can break away from the MDC event, if you are attending, we'd love to see you. Until next time, please be good to yourselves. Be cash. And by the way, there's some things in the meeting chat. If you want to save them about Ho'oponopono, go ahead and download that. Click the 3 dots in the meeting chat and then click Save Chat. It'll download to your computer. Again, love and appreciate you. Take care and have a fantabulous day.
Love and appreciate you guys. Have a great, great, great day.
Love
Bye,
you all.
Matthew and
Thank you so
Ez.
much,
Bye,
Robert.
Bill,
Thank you,
Eric,
Craig.
Melody, Coach Bob, Michael and Angela, Sandy, Jody, Karen, and CJ, the hostess with the mostest. Love you guys, and hello to all the people that are watching the recording.